I'm setting up a live stream because there's been a family of deer that have been coming out right over there along the edge of the field. And I'm hoping the mama deer and her little babies will come out again and y'all can see them. But if the deer don't come out, you can enjoy a beautiful sunset. But I put up the live just to see if the deer come out of the woods. Oh, hold on, I actually see, oh, they're kind of far away right now, but there's some deer over there that have just popped out. They're looking at me because they can hear me talking. All right, I'll put the camera on that deer for right now while I'll keep my eye out to see if they're on the other side, and I'll switch it around if they come out. But there's been some little babies and they've been so cute. So I wanted to show you all the baby deer. Oh, Scotty's being a big boy. He's gonna try to chase the deer, I think. He's hilarious. Normally the deer just ignore him. They're typically not scared of Scotty. If Lucy, our big red labs, gets out there and starts chasing them though, then they'll probably run off. I haven't seen the little babies pop out of the other side of the woods yet. Where'd he go? Oh, sorry. I'm trying not to move this around too much so you don't get dizzy. Yeah, they're just still sitting there eating. I get asked all the time if the deer eat the vegetables out of my garden or my flowers because I have a lot of roses, and they never bother them. They seem to have plenty to eat out there in the field. See, the deer weren't even scared of Scotty. Scotty's my little black dog that was out there barking at him a second ago. Oh, he does hear me talking though, or she. I can't really see that far away to see if it's a buck or a doe. Where's everybody watching from? Drop a comment from where you're looking at the deer from. Oh, hi from England. Paula, what time is it over there in England right now? Are y'all like 5, 6 hours ahead of us here on the East Coast? Hi, Joe from North Carolina. Ooh, you're up awfully late, Paula. 1:12 a.m. I'm normally asleep by that time. Although the other night I did stay up till 3 a.m. canning up some great preserves. Ryan thought I was insane. Ryan's my husband. Which, I agree, the next day I was really tired because the kids always wake up at like 6 or 7. So I only got 3 or 4 hours of sleep. But I have lots and lots of jars of great preserves now, so that was a win. Normally we have at least a dozen or more deer out here in the field. But so far it's just this one. It's interesting because I sit on the porch most evenings, and normally you can kind of familiarize yourself with what deer or what. And the mama with the babies have been coming out, but no sign of them yet. The sun's starting to set. Let me move the camera. I'm gonna make everyone dizzy for 1 second. Starting to go down over there. Do y'all want to watch the sunset or the deer? Let me know in the comments. Whatever the first 3 are, I'll switch the camera to that. Can y'all see the sunset? This is my first time going live, so I don't know the best way to set this up. Let me see if I can zoom in for this deer again. There's a helicopter about to go over, so it may get loud here for a second. Can everyone see the deer? It's like right there. I feel like it's getting a little too dark to actually see the deer, so back over to the sunset. Normally our sunsets here are really pretty. Hi, Michelle. How are y'all doing this evening? Can y'all see the sunset okay? I'm not quite sure how to work this thing. Well, for those of y'all just joining, I was trying to go live to show y'all the baby deer that have been coming out of the woods into this field in the evening, but I haven't seen them yet. Hi, Carol from Alberta, Canada. Hope you're having a nice sunset this evening. The one mama doe that's been coming out with her babies has twins. I'm assuming they're both hers. These two little foals, and they have, not foals, fawns. They have spots on them still, and they're so cute when they've been jumping around and everything. It's probably a little bit too dark now to even see them if they do come out. I might have to try again another evening if I see them. It's always fun to sit out on the porch and watch the wildlife in the evenings, though. It's one of my favorite ways to spend an evening. We've also been having a lot of wild turkeys in the front field. There was about 3 or 4 this morning, actually, and they were just walking up the driveway. They didn't seem bothered by me at all, which was kind of comical. I'm not sure exactly when turkey mating season is here in Virginia. Does anyone know? They seem to be a lot more active lately anyway. Seeing them in the field more often. Carol said, still light here. Hello, love deer and their babies. Have a small herd, and 3 of them come right out in my kitchen and eat out of my hand. Wow, they come inside your kitchen, Carol? That's amazing. You've really got them trained, it sounds like. Do you have them named? I feel like I would have to give them all names. Wow, that's amazing. She said that she has pictures of them. Hi, Kimberly. Carol, I have so many questions about these deer that come into your kitchen and eat out of your hand. That is the most fascinating thing I've but heard of today. Hi, Meg. So, Carol, these deer that come into your kitchen, is it the babies that come in too? Do you get to feed baby deer? That sounds like so much fun. I normally have to pay money and go to a zoo to do that. Maybe I should start training my deer. I used to have a bobwhite quail at my parents' house that was pretty well trained, and I would whistle to him, and he would always whistle back. But he wouldn't come up to my hand and eat out of my hand, but I could see him. We'd whistle and chat from the porch. But that's the only wild animal I've really ever trained. Whitetail mamas, all of them, said Carol. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so have you named them? I want to know if they have names. Carol said, one is a mix of mule and whitetail, tall like an elk, and quite aggressive. No names, but I would love to. Well, if you come up with some names for them, comment on one of, quite aggressive. If you come up with some names for them, comment on one of my videos what the names are. Update me. I want to know. Excuse me. I've had this cough that just won't go away. Oh, you can pet them too? So they're aggressive, but you can pet them? Tall like this. Or is just the one is aggressive and the other ones are nice? I hope y'all could hear that on the camera. A coyote just howled quite a few times. Seemed quite close too, actually, and alone, which is interesting because normally around here anyway, coyotes travel in packs, and they're not normally by themselves. That one seemed, I'm sitting on my front porch, and that one seemed to be like just on the other side of the garden, so not very far away at all. I'm not a huge fan of the coyotes, personally. They're kind of cool to see, but they can be kind of aggressive around here, and with young children, I'm not a fan of that. Plus our dogs, I don't want them getting into a tizzy. Y'all want a crazy story? There was actually a coyote that attacked our big red lab, Lucy. We had to take her to the vet. This was a couple months ago. She's okay. She's fine. But she got into a big scuffle with one. It was actually two. Two coyotes attacked her at the same time. But she's a trooper. She's good. But anyway, needless to say, I'm not a huge fan of having so many coyotes around. Does anyone else deal with coyote issues where they live? One person said, I have coyotes. Are these pet coyotes or wild? I'm assuming wild, but I do know some people who have coyotes that they've like found as little pups and kept as pets. So genuine question. Hi, Bobby. Yes, we have coyote here. They seem to get more stirred up during hunting season. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I definitely hear them traveling in a lot of packs around hunting season in the fall, but they seem to be always around all the time, here in my property anyway. Meg asked, have you thought of getting an LGD breed like Great Pyrenees to help watch and protect the farm? Yes, Meg. Actually, Ryan is on the hunt for one right now. We're just talking about hunting, so I guess I have hunting on the mind. Ryan would like to get one for our sheep herd. So currently our sheep are just in an electric netting, but we would really like some livestock guardian dogs to protect them. Because we do have so many coyotes, I am slightly concerned that the coyotes will get the sheep one of these days. And that would be really sad. I'm not even sure how many sheep we have right now. We had a lot of babies this spring, and we have sold a couple, but most of them we're going to keep as part of our herd, just to grow our herd bigger. So we definitely don't want to lose any sheep to coyotes, which is definitely an issue around here. Thankfully, we have not lost any to a coyote yet, and we haven't lost any of our chickens to coyotes. But since they did attack Lucy, our red lab, I am concerned about the aggressive behavior of some of them in this area anyway. I think one of the things Ryan wants to do is find another sheep farmer to buy a dog from, so that hopefully it's already trained a little bit. We're new to livestock guardian dogs though, so we don't have 100% exactly all the research and information on that. However, we do have some friends who have some who have talked to us and gave us their advice. Carol, your story just keeps getting better and better. For those of you joining, Carol said she has deer that come into her kitchen and she can feed them out of her hands. She said the mama will knock her hoof to let her know when it's feeding time, and the littlest one she calls Daisy. Oh, I love the name Daisy. I have a cat named Daisy. We have 2 cats, Pepper and Daisy. So you really do have them trained to knock their hoof. They're basically knocking on the door to let you know it's time to feed them. That's great. Carol, you need to record a video of this. I would love to see it. Genuinely, I really would. My email is contact.bluebirdhomestead@gmail.com. If you want to email me that video, I will show my kids, and I'm sure they will get a kick out of it too. Honestly, I love this story. This is so great. Meg said, yeah, you definitely need a couple LGDs. Yeah, we definitely do need to get the sheepdogs. That's been on our to-do list. The to-do list is ever growing all the time, I feel like. But such is life on a homestead. There's always another project to work on or thing to get. But yes, we do definitely need to get some livestock guardian dogs. I would like to get some soon so that they can get well established. And if we get a puppy, it can get big enough before winter sets in. We don't have super cold winters here, but I definitely don't want a puppy outside in the winter. I'd like it to be an adult dog if it's going to be living with the sheep. Well, the sunset wasn't super colorful this evening, and the baby deer didn't come out. But I'm still glad I did this live because I got to hear that great story from Carol about the deer she deer she feeds out of her hand. That's awesome. Do you guys want me to keep the live up so you can see the stars come out? Or are y'all good for the evening? I'm learning so many interesting things from Carol here about these deer, so I'm fine keeping it up and chatting if y'all want to. Just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll go inside and do dishes. But I'm kind of procrastinating doing dishes right now. Carol says she has not trained them at all. They're wild. I have pics, and it's a tiny cabin, 286 square feet. Deer come around after I moved in. I'll get you the pics of them in my kitchen. Okay, great. Thanks, Carol, for the pics. Okay, so trained may be the wrong word, but I guess I would say they're trained if they eat out of your hand and they knock on the ground when they're ready for food. Honestly, my dogs aren't even that trained. My dog can sit, but that's about it. She doesn't do that very often. She's very lovable, and I love, well, I have 2 dogs. I love Lucy and Scotty, but they're definitely not trained as well as they could be. They're spoiled with love and hugs and attention, but not necessarily obedient all the time. Kimberly says, sure, she wants to see the stars. Okay, I'll leave it up. The solar lights just came on in my garden. I have, Ryan got me these solar powered lights to put around the house and the garden for Christmas this past year. I'm gonna make the camera dizzy for 1 second, then I'll go back. And they've all just started to come on. I think they're really pretty because they flicker and look kind of like a little fire in the evening. It looks so dark there on the screen. The solar lights are also nice when I'm pulling weeds in the garden. I have a bunch of them in my raised beds. They don't give off a ton of light, but it definitely makes it feel cozy and kind of relaxing. I often pull weeds at night. Carol says yes to the stars too. Well, the sunset wasn't super exciting, but the stars should be pretty awesome tonight because there's not a single cloud in the sky from what I can tell. The one great thing about, well, there's many great things about being in the country, but one thing I really love about being in the country is all the stars. Our last home was in the suburbs, and you couldn't see the stars at all. Thanks, Carol. The house light is on, so I'm gonna run inside real quick, turn off the light so that it doesn't cast a glow, because it seems a lot darker out there than it actually is. That way the stars will show up really well. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure why it's so zoomed in. My husband just texted me and said it's really zoomed in. Bobby from Gardening on Taylor Mountain said, I've gone crazy using solar lights in my garden this year. So fun. My grandies can see them from their house, and they said they look like little campfires in my garden. Aw, that's so cute. Little campfires, that's a great explanation for them. I do feel like they look like that. I'm gonna try to point this up a little bit more. There we go. You should be able to see the sky better now. My kids really like all the solar lights too. They say they look like little lanterns and flashlights. They have solar-powered handheld kind of lanterns they use, and they run around the yard with whenever we do a fire pit or something. They're fun. Meg says, I love being able to stand in my yard and see the Milky Way. Me too, Meg. I think God is so cool how he created all the different stars in the sky. It's always been so fascinating to me. Nature in general is pretty amazing, but the stars in particular are really gorgeous. Were y'all able to see the Aurora Borealis? Can't really talk. The Northern Lights here the other day. I guess it was a couple weeks ago. I think I posted a picture over on Instagram of them here, but I was able to actually see purple and green, which is pretty unheard of for Virginia. And it was really amazing to see that. I stayed outside that evening for a very long time, just staring at the sky and taking pictures. It was a lot of fun. Meg, I feel like you're farther up north. Are you able to see the Northern Lights at your house a lot? And Carol, were you the one who was in Canada? Someone commented that they were up in Canada. Yeah, Carol, I think you were Alberta, Canada, maybe? I bet you see them all the time. It's not something I see very often, so that's why it is extra fascinating to me. I've only seen them 2 times in my life. A couple weeks ago, or months now maybe. Time all blends together. When they were down here in Virginia, and then I went to Iceland once, and I saw them in Iceland. Carol says yes, she can see the Northern Lights. Bobby said the mountains blocked the Northern Lights here, but if we had gone to Skyline Drive, we would have seen them. Oh, you should have gone over to Skyline Drive and saw them. Well, if they happen again, you'll have to make the drive because they were really cool. I love Skyline Drive though. For those of y'all not in Virginia, Bobby's also in Virginia. Skyline Drive is a very pretty, scenic drive through the mountains here. And it's especially known, I think it's actually pretty famous across the country for the fall leaves and the fall colors. Meg said we do get to see the Northern Lights if they come south far enough. The lights a few months ago were spectacular. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you're able to see them. Carol says, not as much as you think, mostly in winter when it's very cold and very clear. Oh, okay. I don't know. I just have this vision in my mind that if you live up north, you should be able to see the Northern Lights all the time. I guess maybe that is inaccurate information, but I'm glad you're able to see them. That's really cool. Bobby says, I know we should have. We live on the border of the Shenandoah National Park. Yeah, you really should have. They were so cool. Like, I just put on some praise and worship music and sat outside. I basically laid in the grass and just stared at them for hours. It was so beautiful. Did anyone have a good sunset this evening? Ours wasn't very colorful, but maybe someone else had a nice sunset. It was a lovely evening, Bobby. It was raining a tiny bit the night that the Northern Lights were here, but I didn't mind it. It was just a little bit of a sprinkle. I wrapped up in a blanket. Ryan slept through it, though. He came out for a few minutes, looked at him and said, "Take good pictures for me," and then went back inside. I don't blame him, though. It was late at night. I want to say it was around midnight or so when the Northern Lights were here a few months ago. Months, weeks, I'm not sure. Time all blurs together. Meg says, not yet. It's only 6:47 in my time zone. I always forget about different time zones. Yeah. I guess the sun typically sets around like 8:30 here. Carol says, still light here, not dark for 4 hours yet. Wow, y'all have quite a ways to go. I see a couple stars starting to pop out. I'm gonna turn my camera a little bit because where the sunset was, it's not quite as dark as it is over here. Let's see. I'm not sure if it's gonna pick up very well or not. I feel like it just looks like a black screen. Let me turn back this way just a little bit. Maybe the contrast of light, you can actually see them better. Kimberly said about another hour, then we'll be getting dark. Carol's a good 18 hours above Meg. Pretty cool, people from all over the place. The magic of the internet. I would have never chatted with y'all if it wasn't for YouTube, and I've learned so many interesting things this evening. Thanks for hanging out with me. Well, I'm gonna give it a few more minutes here, and if the stars don't really start showing up on camera, I think I'll call it an evening, but hopefully they do. We'll see. They look really pretty in person so far. I can see the Big Dipper. And a lot of airplanes in the sky right now. Bobby says she has to go. Well, thanks for joining, Bobby. Flower bouquet bar, I'm assuming. Sounds fun. I hope you have a good time tomorrow. I'm actually having some friends come over tomorrow and pick flowers too. Have a nice evening. Carol said she's on some acreage near the hills and mountains. Sounds beautiful, Carol. Carol. I said Cara. My name's Cara. Your name's Carol. I feel like being close to the mountains is really nice. We're not too far away from the mountains. We do have a little bit of a drive, but it's not so far that we can't go visit for a weekend if we want to, which I really love. Carol says it gets to minus 58 here between Christmas and New Year's. Minus 58 Fahrenheit? My goodness, Carol. That is cold. I complain if it gets to like 32. I don't know that I'm built to handle that kind of cold. Is it humid as well where you are, Carol, or is it just a dry cold? Hi, Luzanna, did I pronounce that right? From South Africa? Wow, hi. We're trying to see if the stars come out, if you're just joining us. The stars are out here and I can see them, but the camera's not quite picking up on them yet, I don't think. I don't know if it's going to, but I'm gonna give it just a couple more minutes here and see if it does. Let me see if I can play around with the filters. I don't know. I've never done a live before, so I'm not 100% sure how to work it. I wanna scroll through a few filters and see if any of them will make the stars pop out more. Oh my, I don't know. That made it really bright. I'm just gonna put no filter on. I don't think that helped any. Are you saying you love the cold, Carol? Or that you love the mountains? Carol says at that temperature, it gets really cold in the winter where she's at in Canada. Nothing runs, starts, or thaws for hours or days. Don't even try to go out that temp. I would not be leaving my house either if it got to negative, what was it, negative 58? That is very cold. I hope you have a wood furnace, and then you can at least burn some wood if electricity doesn't work. I will say every winter, we typically lose power for about a week at one point or another throughout the winter. Carol says a bit of both, dry in the summer, but can be very dry. Definitely love the scenery. I bet the scenery is gorgeous. I've never been up that way, but it's on my bucket list one day to travel up that way, but I want to wait till the kids are a little bit older so that they can enjoy a good road trip. Right now, sometimes there's crying in the car, and I don't travel very far if I don't have to. Here, our winters are more wet, and I feel like the cold mixed with like a wet that just feels damp is not super fun. We lose power because of ice storms a lot. Last winter, we lost power for, I want to say it was a week straight, almost. I'm sure Ryan will correct me later if I got that wrong, but sometimes I can't remember very well. Ice had coated all the trees and caused a lot of the trees to snap and land on the power lines, and that made the power go out. Thankfully, we have a generator, so none of our food went bad or anything, but it was very icy and cold. I like your analogy, Meg. Meg says as she gets older, she's less tolerant of the cold. And if she's a plant, she would need a heated greenhouse. That's a good way to put it. I do enjoy having 4 seasons. I lived in Florida for a little while, and one of the reasons I wanted to move back to Virginia, which is where I'm from, is because I missed the seasons. I like having a spring, summer, fall, and winter. Carol says, when it rains, it's very humid for sure. Wood stove for heat, though I cook on and in the wood stove. Don't lose power in winter, usually in thunderstorms in the summer, but not very often. Well, that's nice that you don't lose the power in the winter time. We lose power in the winter and in the summer. We haven't lost power this summer, though, but we haven't had any rain this summer. We just had rain yesterday, and I feel like that was the first rain we've had in months. Our grass is very brown and crunchy. And thankfully, we're on well water, and we have a very deep well, so we haven't run out of water, and there's plenty of water for the garden and everything. But some people in the area are on water restriction where we live because of the water table. Yeah, I agree, Carol. 4 seasons are the best. What's y'all's favorite season? I think mine it would have to be fall or spring. I just love the cooler evenings and not dripping in humidity. And the anticipation of like the garden in the springtime is always nice. Getting started planting. I like being able to be outside all day long and not be too hot or too cold. So that's why fall and spring. And the scenery's pretty. But then I do like winter and I do like summer. I really like them all. But spring and fall, yeah. I'm trying to convince myself which ones I like the best. Oh. Well, since we can't really see the stars, I'll put it on this light for a second. Carol says spring is the best because of new growth. I agree, that is really nice. I love when the daffodils start to bloom. Sometimes the daffodils will bloom when there's still snow on the ground, but they just make me so happy. They're so cheery. Carol says the winter is gorgeous with the frost. I do love when everything's icy and frosty. That's really pretty. We get a lot of ice storms, like I said, so the trees will often be coated in ice and it'll look like icicles everywhere, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, but it makes the power go out because all the trees' branches fall on the power lines. Thanks, Carol. I do like those lights. Ryan is very thoughtful with his gift giving. That was a good Christmas present from him. Well, I'm sorry, y'all, that the stars didn't really show up on camera. I can see them and they're gorgeous. I'm gonna take the phone off the tripod and see if I can see if it'll show up better if I walk out here. Carol says I'm like her sister. You said your sister's name's Virginia, right? Well, I'm in Virginia, so we have that in common at least. All right, I'm pointing the phone at the sky, but the stars really aren't showing up. I'm barefoot, so I'm gonna walk slowly here so I don't step on anything. Oh, I don't think you can see them, but they are spectacular tonight because there's no clouds in the sky. Carol said her sister loved daffodils coming up through the snow too. What's not to love about them? They're so pretty, and they give you such a hope for spring and makes you excited for warmer weather. Here's an up close of those lights. I think they're cool when they flicker. And they're solar powered. There's a little solar power charger on the top of them, so they don't ever have to have batteries, which is really nice. Anyway. All right, well, thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I think I'm going to sign off here since the stars aren't really showing up. But if those baby deer, which is the original reason I logged on this evening, come out again with their mama, another evening I will try to hop back on live and show y'all because they're so cute. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their evening. Bye, y'all.